morning, guys. Today is Tuesday. It is June 14th and it's about 9:45 in the morning. We are just getting started. Well, no, I can't say that. Shawn's been up for a little while getting a lot of stuff done. So if you watched our last video, you noticed or you saw that we got 2 new puppies here on the farm. So that is Harley. She's just chilling there, and Maverick is laying down right there. And they are so cute, so sweet. We worked on getting the roof put on the poultry pen that we have here, and we got a tarp to put over the top of it. So that's an area that they can go and cool off in during the day, especially at this time of day. It's really shaded over here, so that's nice. We haven't gotten them to go in the igloo yet, so I told Natalie, she's really good at training them to do certain things, so I told her to work on getting them to go in the igloo. That way they know that it's cooler in there, or at least it's supposed to be cooler in there when they need a place to cool off. Yesterday, they spent most of the day laying under the trailer because it was shaded and they were on the ground and it was cooler. They did go, we bought them a baby pool to play in because they were playing in their water bowl. They still do that. But we, I think I had run an errand, and the kids said that when I came back that they had gone and they had played in it. So in the afternoon, late afternoon, I walked them down to it, and as soon as they got near it and they saw where it was, they jumped in it. So they really did enjoy that, but that also gets them really dirty, but they're dogs. So, let's see, if you, as you saw, sorry about that. Shawn got started putting an outlet in the kitchen. He is putting one in. That is where the stove is going to go. We did order one and it should be here in a few days. So that he put an outlet in for the stove, and then also for me to use for different appliances. Last night it was pretty interesting making dinner because I was making wings and I wanted to use the air fryer for the wings. But we can't run the air fryer when we have the air conditioners running. So we had to turn off both air conditioners. And then as I ran the air fryer, we had question about whether we could run or use the rice maker at the same time. I don't know, I feel like we had one air conditioner on or something like that. And Shawn was sitting there calculating how many watts or how many amps it was gonna take. And I think at one point he said, yeah, I think you can. And so I started them, and then, a minute later we popped a breaker. So it just gets old having to question, can I use this appliance? Because all of the kitchen, I think I mentioned this before in another video, but all of the kitchen and the girls' room and the front room are all on the same circuit. So he is working on putting me in a dedicated line, an outlet, kind of as you go in the kitchen underneath the light switch, that will work for some of my appliances in the kitchen, and it will work for the stove, and I won't have to worry about what's running or what's on or anything like that. And then he says eventually he will get me a dedicated line for the microwave because that seems to take up the most amount of amps. So it's a process. We're getting there. It's just, a matter of what is priority and what gets done and all of that. So the girls today are going to get started with a project down here in the shed. So we had all of our firewood on, or not all of it, but a little bit of it here on the porch. You can kind of see it right here. And we had that I would call it a ring, but it's not a ring, but it's for stacking firewood. And we do have our firewood ring still on our front porch there on the other side of that chair. And I kind of want to get it off the porch because we like to sit out here. Shawn wants to get a swing out here, and I want to get the firewood off of there. So one of our alternatives for where to put the firewood is down here in this shed. So the girls' job today is to empty the shed. So what they're going to do is they're going to take everything out of here, and they're going to load it into the truck and the trailer, and then we're going to take it down to the big barn and store it down there. Most of the stuff in here is the stuff that we that was left behind in this old farmhouse, and we put in here mostly because we didn't know what to do with it, but we didn't want to get rid of it. So you can kind of see there's a lot of the wood that came out of that back room. So we have some of that. Aside from this, that's kind of like my gardening cart. We have a couple of the old chairs, the old bed frame, the spring bed frame. I guess people use them for crafts or something, or they use the springs for them. So maybe at some point we might sell it. I don't know. But a lot of this stuff has just been piled up here because we didn't know what to do with it. And this stays fairly dry. It gets a little bit of drips of rain because the ceiling is not 100%, but it will stay dry enough, I think, that we can store our firewood in here and have this kind of be like a woodshed. So that's what the girls are going to work on today. I'm going to kind of continue with my planting adventures. Our neighbor, Sniper Steve, across the road, he texted Shawn yesterday and told him that he has a lot of these yellow buckets, and if we wanted them, we could have them. He said he has like 12 of them. So I think they're not like the cutest things, but I think I'm going to use them as planters. Even if I don't put them like right up front, put them around the garden, who cares? So I can use those as some planters because again, until we get a tiller and really get going with our garden, which will probably be next season, I can at least use these to plant some things in them. So I'm going to try to get this one planted or where I want it or whatever I get to it. And then we'll go get the other ones from our neighbor maybe later today. Let's see if there's anything else. Our son Jack came into town last night. I don't know if he's going to be any help today because he's still recovering from his surgery that he had where he had his appendix removed. So, but I think Shawn's goal is to get me 3 outlets. He says he's working on the one. He's going to put one where our coffee pot is, where our coffee maker is, and he's going to put another one, I forgot, oh, in our bedroom. So we have, like, I think I've showed you before, we have a power strip that's running underneath our bed, and I trip over it every day because we only have 1 outlet in that room, and our bed is a what's it called, sleep number bed, so it has to plug in, plus things like our chargers, my clock, all of those things that need a spot or a place to plug in. So his goal is to work on getting me those 3 outlets today. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we will catch you. Sorry, he's just so cute. Just so cute. But we'll let you know what else we get into. There's one tired puppy. She went swimming earlier, so she's all wet and muddy. Girls are getting this unloaded. Looks like they're doing a good job. They got the furniture and the antique stuff up on the truck and the wood loaded here in the trailer bed.
What? I was there.
Alright, so this is part 2 of putting in my outlet. Shawn's gonna install the breaker.
So we turned off the 100 amp main breaker. So all of this is not hot, but these 2 wires in the ground, that's live. But once you turn it off, all this is fine. So we're gonna use 15 amps for your microwave. We're just gonna pop this sucker in. Let's see. Since I'm on this side, I'm just gonna stick with this side over here. And just like that. Okay, that's off. And then here's the power, the hot wire that's gonna go to the breaker. And you can hear the girls fighting in the background.
Yeah, they're hot, sweaty, and working. Not a good combination.
Alright. So there's our hot wire. That is in. Okay, that's fine. Okay. That is good. Okay, now we this is the neutral wire. This is how power gets back to the fuse box, completes the circuit. Alright, we got one more wire left. This is the ground wire. Believe it or not, it actually goes on the same bar as the neutral wire, because this is the main panel and your neutrals and your grounds go to the same bus bar. Moment of truth. So we were successful. Now I just got to put the cover back on the breaker panel. Just line up the breaker holes and we start putting these guys back in.
Sorry about the fan noise. It's too hot to not have fan going.
So what we did is we ran a dedicated 15 amp circuit for the stove, which it doesn't have to be dedicated, but we had not enough circuits in there, so we're overloading the circuit, which is usually 20 amps. So we needed to add another one, so when she's trying to run her microwave and your air dryer at the same time, you can have them on separate circuits because they both pull between 10 and 13 amps, and it overloads one 20 amp circuit, and then you pop a breaker. So this way we've got at least another outlet in there that's by itself, and if you run the microwave on it, you'll be fine, because the microwave pulls 13 amps and this is a 15 amp circuit, and we're not even maxing out the circuit, so this will be fine. Alright, that's done.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Broken Farm. Today is Friday. I think it's like the 17th of June, and we didn't video very much the last couple days. Life has just been really busy, and it's been hot. We've been under heat advisories out here, and so when it's hot, like, you just want to do as little as possible. I've been busy mostly on the inside of the house, just doing things like, I've been doing some canning. I've been kind of just preparing some things and cooking some things, and I feel like that's taken up a lot of my time. I also did, I think, a little bit of more reorganization. I had a load in the freeze dryer for the last couple days. But Shawn, of course, because that man is like a machine, he does not stop. He has been busy working outside every day. He's bringing the truck around right now, so if you hear it, that's what you hear. We are getting ready this morning to go over to our neighbor Steve across the street. He offered, I think I might have shown the yellow buckets that he offered to us the other day. He said he had like 10 or 12 more, and we decided we wanted to pick those up, but he gave us a different address. So it's not even that place that he owns over there. It's another one of his properties that we're going to go to pick up those things. So Shawn is backing the truck up. We're going to, I think we've got a few things that we're going to take to Goodwill, and then we're going to go pick up those buckets from him. The puppies are still doing really good. They have been so good, but they've also been so dirty because they love to get into their water. They love to go swimming and then roll in the dirt. So they're like a muddy mess all the time. I'll show you what they look like right now. All right, I just brought these lavender plants down here to the garden area, and the puppies followed me. And yesterday, Shawn threw down these wood chips here. So we're gonna try to get that soil ready for planting. I don't know if I'll be able to plant in it this year, but if not, it'll just be sitting there getting ready and turning into mulch for next year. So that's what we're doing. I just turned the hose on to get some water in the puppies' baby pool. So I'm gonna lead them back up there so they can maybe go for a swim. There it is, buddy. Go swimming. Go on. You can get in there. Yeah. Go on, bud. Go ahead. Go on, go on. Get in there. Good morning, guys. Today is Saturday. It is June 18th, and Shawn and I are getting started this morning. We kind of are a little bit all over the place, but what else is new? Yesterday was Friday. I don't think I did any videoing yesterday. If I did, I don't remember it, but we kind of had, in the morning, our neighbor, I might have videoed in the morning, but we went over to our neighbor Steve's house, not his house. He has another piece of property that he has cattle on. Don't know if he owns it or if it's part of the property that he rents out. But anyways, we went over there to pick up some of those big buckets that he was giving us. We did that in the morning, and then we came back and we did a few things around here, and then it started to get stormy. So we had a kind of a late, it was right around noontime, I think, that it started storming. So Shawn and I actually went and sat out on the front porch and watched the rain. It was really, really nice. The weather cooled off for the storm, so it was actually, I think I brought a sweatshirt out there. It was actually cool enough that I needed a sweatshirt. So we didn't do a whole lot after that. Our neighbor Steve came over last night and had a beer with Shawn on the front porch, and we just kind of did a whole lot of nothing. We had to take Natalie to work, and so when we did that, we ran into town and ran a couple errands. And so this morning we are starting to get ready for our stove. We ordered our stove last week, I think, and it's supposed to be delivered to Home Depot next week, I think. I think the last thing I saw, they were saying that it might be delivered on Tuesday. So we're gonna have to go pick it up at Home Depot and bring it here. But Shawn is starting to work on the gas line or the propane line for where the stove is gonna go. So right now he's in here. This is where we're gonna put the stove. And so he is working on having the line come up from the basement. So he's down there in the basement right now trying to work on all of that. We were able to get a hold of a propane company that is gonna come and bring us a tank. We went back and forth about whether we wanted just to have smaller propane tanks that we would manage ourselves, or if we wanted to go with a company that would bring a larger propane tank and service it for us. And I think we decided that we wanted to go ahead with the larger tank, even though it's probably going to last us, hopefully it would last us anywhere from 3 to 5 years depending on what we use the propane for. Right now it's only going to be for the stove, but eventually we may get a water heater that runs on propane and a few other things. So he's working on that, and then I think we're getting ready to go back to Lowe's. He needs to get some copper piping, is that right? For the gas or the propane line. So I'm currently working on a couple things. These are some of the vegetables from the CSA box that I picked up on Wednesday, and I have to do something with them. They've kind of just been sitting here. I love squash, so this is not going to be a problem for me. The cabbage and the onions and the beets, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with those. The onions, no problem, but cabbage and beets, I'm the only one that eats anything like that. And I can tell you that I think it's been not since I was a little girl that I had beets when my mom and dad made me eat them. So I don't know what I'm going to do with those yet. I may look at either freeze drying them and then turning into beet powder to add into things. I know I've seen people make a pasta out of the beets, so I may end up doing that. But that's what we're getting started on, and we will let you know what else we get into today. Shawn was busy working on hooking up. Whoa! He was busy working on hooking up the pipes and getting all of the things together for when the stove gets put in. So I stepped away for a second. Maybe you can hear me a little bit better, but he was busy working on getting all of the connections ready for the stove. Hi, puppies. And he had to go back to get some pipes. And so he decided to take a break and move on to something else. And usually he tells me exactly what he's working on. And I came outside just to clean up a mess that I had made, and I hear the chainsaw going, and all of a sudden he's chopping down a tree. So let me turn this camera around and show you these puppies that are at my feet. What are you two doing? Always playing. At least today they're not as muddy as they have been, but it's a little tiny bit cooler today, so they don't feel like they need to go give themselves a bath in the swimming pool and then roll in the dirt. So they are always playing. So I just thought I would share that with you, what Shawn has been up to. I have been inside doing some canning. I wanted to make some strawberry lemonade concentrate. I had seen a lot of people doing it. I had some strawberries, I had some lemons, so I decided to go ahead and do that. And it's in the canner right now. It's in my, my digital canner, but it also doubles as a water bath canner. So it's water bath canning right now. I'm gonna go and I'm probably gonna start browning up some ground beef because I wanna try to can some ground beef and or freeze dry. I've got like, I'm kind of on the fence because I took some ground beef out to thaw and I want to brown it up, and I'm probably going to can some of it, and then I'm probably going to also freeze dry it. But I'm playing with the idea of freeze drying some onions with the ground beef, not like together, but some trays of onions and some ground beef. I've been nervous to do onions just because I've seen some people say that when they've done onions and garlic in their freeze dryer, it makes the whole thing smell, and some people say they can't get the smell out. So I have been hesitant to do it, but I'm thinking if I did the ground beef with the onions, it's okay if your ground beef tastes a little bit like onions, because most people put onions in their ground beef. So I don't know. I'll see what I'm gonna do, but I'm probably gonna go in and work on browning that up and possibly canning and or doing some freeze drying. Good morning, guys. Today is Sunday. It is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to Shawn. He got up real early and started working. So we did make him breakfast, but we had to pull him in from working outside for him to get his breakfast. So I have not been very good at videoing this week, and I apologize. It's just, I don't know, I guess it's hard because we haven't really set certain jobs for every day. We've just kind of been putzing around doing odd jobs here and there. I think it's the only way to stay motivated, just because everything is such a large task. So what we've been working on, we've kind of gotten the dogs area situated a little bit here. We've figured out, kind of for right now anyway, a system for their water, because they love splashing in it and then getting muddy and getting their water muddy and then dumping their water out. So we've got a kind of a system there that's working for them. And yesterday I think you saw that Shawn cut down the tree in the front of the yard. So today Natalie's job is to kind of move the branches and the limbs over to another burn pile. Hang on, Natalie's got to show me something. What did she do?
She high-fived.
She high-fived. Oh, we didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Oh, ruining. You can chew on her tail another time. Riley.
She's gonna have to do it later, I think. She's being busied. So anyways, Natalie's job is moving all of the branches and the leaves, not the leaves, the branches over to another burn pile out here in the garden. We have the one big burn pile, and we're gonna make a second one that we'll keep there until the fall for whenever we decide to do a little bonfire. Shawn is doing odd things all around. Don't even know where he is right now. He's on the tractor doing something. Not sure where. He's down the driveway? Natalie says he's down the driveway, but I don't know what he's doing down there. And I'm gonna go out and check on everything in my little garden area. The other day we picked up all of those big tubs from our neighbor, and I wanna try to find an area in the garden because I'm gonna use them to plant just a few things. I'm not gonna plant a ton because I know I'm really past everything, but I might try to plant a few things. So that's what I'm gonna work on, and I'll see you guys in a few.
Good girl. You see that?
Yep.
She's so good.
Okay, I just came down here and look, I have little tomatoes. I have little tomatoes growing on here. I'm so excited. It is, let's see, it's 12:45. Natalie and Shawn just got done clearing this area. So Natalie did most of the big branches and brought them over here to this pile. And then Shawn with the tractor got the big chunks of wood over there. And our view is beautiful. I love it. So this black walnut tree is gonna stay, but we still have a great view there. I don't know if I if what I just did is going to be worth anything, but down there in this row that Shawn had made for me with wood chips, I just kind of threw down some potato sprouts that I had. I had bought them, oh gosh, maybe 3 months ago, I don't know. And they have been sitting in the bag in our laundry room on the floor for months. And so I decided, instead of just throwing them away, and this area I really didn't have anything planned for it, I just went ahead. You can kind of see like some of them, I don't know if you can see, some of them are still laying there. I just threw them down on the mulch and I'm covering it up with this hay. So I've been going out into the field there and raking up hay from when Shawn did the bush hogging a month ago or so, and I'm covering it up. So just trying to kind of mimic the root stout method, and we'll see. If potatoes grow, yippee. If not, no big deal. But as I showed you earlier, I counted at least 15 little tomatoes growing on all of my tomato plants. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm sure there's going to be more in the next few days. And I think Shawn came down here. I kind of saw him picking up all my red cups that I had laid down here. I really hadn't done anything with them, and he brought them over here. So I think he's going to try to revive them. He brought them over here to our fire pit area. He's probably going to try to become the hero and revive them. So we're going to go in and have some lunch, and when we get done, I'm going to finish up covering up that area with hay. So I'm over here on the side of the house, and my 4 blueberry bushes got eaten up by the weed eater. Shawn said he didn't know they were there, they weren't marked off. So I just went and got some rocks to kind of put around these, and these 3, I'm just guessing that those are the blueberry bushes because I couldn't tell exactly. The first one, I knew that was it, but these other 3, not 100% that I marked off the blueberry bushes. So we'll have to see when they grow a little bit more, since their leaves are different than weeds. And Shawn's getting ready to mow the front yard. And I also got my potato bed finished. So don't know if it'll work this year. Might be too late to grow potatoes, but we'll see. Alright guys, I think that's going to be it for our video this week. We just got back from taking Natalie to work. Shawn's taking a shower, and I think we're gonna just call it a day. It is Father's Day after all, and he was up early, so I'm gonna let him chill out, and we'll probably watch some Yellowstone and just relax for the rest of the day. I think on the agenda for this week, hopefully, is to get my stove picked up and installed. That is what I'm hoping to see this week. So I know Shawn's going to be working on some more of the line tomorrow. We have to go down to the propane company and put a deposit down. Actually, I think we have to pay for the propane up front. So we're going to do that tomorrow. And then I think, like I said, I think I saw that my stove is going to be delivered to Home Depot on Tuesday. So we have to go pick it up, and I'm hoping that it can get installed and I will have a stove inside the house. So be sure to stay tuned this week and see what we get into, and we will catch you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.